Good morning, everyone. Looks like it's just us and the pages today. Y'all ready? So, the Senate will come to order. Recognize the senator from the 6th.
Mr. President, which one you want? We got the senator from the 6th and the former senator from the 6th.
I know, and it's good to see the former senator there from the 6th. So
our politics are very similar.
I was going to introduce her when everybody got here. So.
Our sense of humor is definitely very similar.
So, but it is.
And our admins are even more similar.
The senator.
All right, I'll focus.
The IQ level from the senator from the 6th has gone down tremendously since you left. So,
but for the first time in my life, the height actually went up. Not by much, but Mr. President, all joking aside, we have a great list of pages today. From Tucker, Georgia, we have Henry Beatty V. From Savannah, we have Bryson Carswell. From Stockbridge, we have our Denise Sampson's grandson, Keaton Hall. From Roswell, Owen Jorgensen. From Cumming, Suhas Kavidi. From Tifton, Samuel Kirk. From Marietta, Lena Lee. From Sharpsburg, Morgan Morris. From Lawrenceville, Mohammed Musa. From Dunwoody, Ayush Narayan. From Pendergrass, we have Eden Pethel. From Savannah, Melvin Singleton. From Atlanta, we have Alexandria Taylor. From Savannah, Donald Thomas and Orlando Trotter. From Ellenwood, Gabrielle White. And from Cumming, we have Vihan Yara Paredes. Y'all give these pages a big round of applause. We appreciate you being here today to help serve the great people of this state. Mr. President, while the senator from the 19th puts his towel on over there, I was able to read the journal and found that it was correct.
Thank you, Senator. Is there objection to dispensing of the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objections to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills and resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. Mr. Secretary.
Senate Bill 330 by Senator Estevez, the 35th, and others, bill to maintain an act to provide a homestead exemption.
State and local government.
Senate Bill 331 by Senator Dixon, the 45th, and others, bill to maintain an act to...
State and local government.
Senate Bill 332 by Senator Jones, the 10th, and others, bill to maintain an act to amend an act to
State
create...
and local government.
Senate Resolution 378 by Senator Beach, the 21st, and others, resolution recognizing Mr. Jeff...
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 381 by Senator Estevez, the 35th, and others,
Health and
resolution...
Human Services.
Senate Resolution 386 by Senator Moore, the 53rd, and others, resolution creating the Senate State Fair...
Finance.
Senate Resolution 388 by Senator Islam Parks, the 7th, resolution congratulating and commending Deanne...
Rules.
Senate Resolution 390 by Senator James, the 28th, resolution recognizing and commending...
Economic Development.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
Secretary read reports of standing committees.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 331, do pass. House Bill 398, do pass. House Bill 495, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Goodman of the 8th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Banking and Financial Institutions has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 240, do pass. House Bill 241, do pass. House Bill 377, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Summers of the 13th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Children and Families has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to forward the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 175, do pass. House Bill 181, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to forward the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Resolution 323, do pass. House Bill 74, do pass. House Bill 360, do pass. House Bill 159, do pass. House Bill 475, do pass. Respectfully suspended, Senator Beach of the 21st District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Education and Youth has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to forward the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 105, do pass. House Bill 235, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Hickman of the 4th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Ethics has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to forward the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 414, do pass. House Bill 426, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Williams of the 25th District, Vice Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Finance has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to forward the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 111, do pass. House Bill 112, do pass. House Bill 165, do pass. House Bill 266, do pass by substitute. House Bill 511, do pass. House Bill 586, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Hustetler of the 52nd District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 329, do pass. House Bill 506, do pass. House Bill 584, do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 6045, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson of the 1st District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Higher Education has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 38, do pass. House Bill 172, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Burns of the 23rd District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 182, do pass by substitute. House Bill 410, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Walker of the 20th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 86, do pass. House Bill 161, do pass by substitute. House Bill 270, do pass. House Bill 392, do pass. House Bill 483, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of the 42nd District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Public Safety has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 283, do pass. House Bill 494, do pass. House Bill 549, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Albers of the 56th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 34, do pass. House Bill 51, do pass. House Bill 219, do pass. House Bill 416, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Council of the 46th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Retirement has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 78, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Williams of the 25th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations General has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 137, do pass. House Bill 155, do pass by substitute. House Bill 614, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon of the 45th District, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 534, do pass. House Bill 536, do pass. House Bill 594, do pass. House Bill 596, do pass. House Bill 603, do pass. House Bill 30, do pass. House Bill 595, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon of the 45th District, Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator from the 53rd, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent that Senate Rules 3.12 and 4.21A be suspended to allow for first reading and assignment of 4 local bills.
Secretary, is there objection? Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 333 by Senator Moore of the 53rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a homestead exemption from City of Chickamauga Independent School District out of Valorem, Texas for educational purposes in an amount equal to the amount by which
State and local government.
Senate Bill 334 by Senator Moore of the 53rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a
State and local government.
Senate Bill 335 by Senator Moore of the 53rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a homestead exemption from Chattooga School
State
District.
and local government.
Senate Bill 336 by Senator Moore of the 53rd, a bill to be entitled an act to provide a homestead exemption from Dade County School District out of Valorem, Texas.
State and local government.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
Secretary will read bills and resolutions for the second time.
House Bill 55 by Representative Ford of the 170th and others, Alapaha Judicial Circuit, Superior Courts provide an additional judge. House Bill 89 by Representative Cooper of the 45th and others, Public Health Department of require healthcare providers, facilities, and pharmacies to provide the Maternal Mortality Review Committee with psychiatric or other clinical records. House Bill 90 by Representative F. Stration of 104th and others, Revenue Taxation, increase the maximum acreage to qualify for assessment and taxation as a bona fide conservation use property. House Bill 141 by Representative Montahan of the 17th and others, Revenue Taxation, allow businesses and practitioners to provide affidavits of certified public accountants in lieu of tax returns. House Bill 176 by Representative Smith of the 18th and others, appeal and error judgments deemed directly appealable, charge provision. House Bill 180 by Representative Smith at 18th and others, probate courts modify certain requirements for probate judges. House Bill 199 by Representative Kelly of the 16th and others, courts protection of personally identifiable information of judges and their spouses, modify provisions. House Bill 223 by Representative Burchett of the 176 and others, revenue taxation, exclude from the calculation of taxable net income certain disaster relief or assistance grant program payments for agricultural losses suffered due to Hurricane Helene. House Bill 290 by Representative Carson, the 46 and others, revenue taxation, Internal Revenue Code, and Internal Revenue Code of 1986, revised terms and incorporate certain provisions of federal law into Georgia law. House Bill 296 by Representative Gaines of the 120th and others, motor vehicles, presentation of a driver's license and certain electronic format provisions. House Bill 352 by Representative Seabaugh of the 34th and others, Georgia Gestational Diabetes Management Act enacts. House Bill 406 by Representative Lever of the 123rd, a bill to judicial retirement system, increase retirement age of Superior Court judges first taking office on or after July 1st, 2026. House Bill 423 by Representative Wade of the 9th and others, emergency telephone number 911 system, next generation 911 systems and services provide. House Bill 473 by Representative Stevens of the 164th and others, controlled substances, Schedule 1 provides certain provisions. House Resolution 32 by Representative Estration of the 104th and others, General Assembly increase maximum acreage to qualify for assessment and taxation as a bona fide conservation use property. House Resolution 42 by Representative Gamble of 15th and others, General Assembly, motor fuel and diesel fuel taxes, ratify Governor Brian P. Kemp's executive orders. Mr. President, that completes the order.
I see we have a couple of our former colleagues here with us today. The senator, we referenced her earlier today, but we have former Senator Jen Jordan here today. Jen, it's good to see you. We miss you, Senator. You're looking good. Hope everything's going well for you. I know it is. So, and I see the Honorable Judge Jesse Stone, the former senator, right here. Good, my old seatmate. Good to see you, Senator. You look younger since you left this chamber. Good to see you, Judge. It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? I recognize Senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, y'all. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senators from the 12th and 39th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, senators from the 12th and the 39th are excused. I recognize Senator from the 21st.
I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 27th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, senator from the 27th is excused. Recognize senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 42nd for business outside the Capitol.
Without objection, senator from the 42nd is excused. I recognize senator from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 48th. for business outside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 48th is excused. Any other motions to excuse? Secretary will call the roll. Senators, signify your presence by voting the yea switch. Secretary will unlock the machine. It is now time for the morning devotion. All senators, please take your seats and cease all conversation. I would ask the doorkeepers to secure the chambers at this time. I now recognize the senator from the 28th to lead us in our pledge and introduce our chaplain of the day. Senator?
Good morning. Please let us salute the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, the Georgia flag, please. Oh. It's written in Isaiah 40 and 31 that, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not be faint. Amen? This morning, we have a great man of God. And I can say that he's always been like that because he's my cousin. It is Reverend Darrell L. Winston. He's a native of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a graduate of the prestigious Northside High School. He matriculated at Bishop College in Dallas, Texas, and received a bachelor in social welfare. His stellar career includes 6 years in the military as the chaplain assistant and later as chaplain in the National Guard. He started his ministry in Europe and was often called upon to minister to military personnel and their families. He fitted himself well as a marketing executive and U.S. Sprint and Frito-Lay. He accepted his call to ministry in 1986 and was ordained in 1991 at the historic Union Temple Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. Reverend Darrell Winston has distinguished himself as a pastor, community activist, deputy coroner, youth advocate, and the list goes on. He is a much sought after spiritual advisor, counselor, and strategist for several leaders spanning business, politics, government, education, and entertainment for the past 30 years. He's also known for his unique empowerment approach, offering progressive strategies in the faith community as well in the market, as well as in the marketplace. His visionary leadership has resulted in numerous national and local initiatives aimed at empowering and educating the masses of people that have been marginalized spiritually, socially, economically, and politically. In 1995, he organized the Greater Works Ministry, initially as an outreach ministry to youth, and has since parlayed it to one of the most innovative churches in the nation. I am so honored and privileged to introduce to some who he has such a long career and so many accolades, but just to mention 3 or 4, he's written op-ed pieces for numerous publications, such as the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and many national publications as well. He's a leading figure in the community, and he has made appearances on many networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and again, the list goes on. Without further ado, Reverend Darrell Winston, please come and bless us here in this chamber and the state of Georgia. Thank you. Please come. Okay. Excuse me.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Donzella James. Thank you. As I sat here, I said, who me? And I thank you for this great privilege to share to Lieutenant Governor. Thank you to all our distinguished leaders who are exemplary in your deportment. Thank you for this privilege to stand. I stand before you today amid the clamoring chaos and deafening cry for compassion as the masses in this country contend with over againstness. At a time when many are asking the question, how long? A type of cold-heartedness and callousness has been touted as virtue, a type of cool indifference to the plight of the suffering masses being applauded. But because all of us have a spark of the divine in us, Imago Dei, more than ever before, wherever we serve, wherever we are called, our concern should be one of a divine concern so that we can salute divinity in humanity. There are so many who are reeling and rocking, mourning. So many parents in this state, due to gun violence, have seen the blood of their children run down the streets like water from the stream, while many of us watch. There must be a recovery of compassion. Dr. Martin Luther King, Georgia native son, said, there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor political nor popular, but we must take it because conscience tells him it is right. May we be gripped by the numinous and the power that is in all of us. It's the sound of the genuine that tells us that is right. There must be a recovery of compassion, lest we are destroyed by malignant malady of mean-spiritedness. May this legislative session heed the cry for compassion and be blanketed by the Issachar motif. 1 Chronicles 12th chapter, 32nd verse says, the tribe of Issachar discerned the times and knew what Israel should do. May we discern the times. May we become, as Dr. King said, not mere thermometers reflecting the temperature, but may we become thermostats, setting the atmosphere. And may that atmosphere be one of compassion. Let us pray. Eternal God, our great source creator, we come before you today. We know that you are God and you are good and your mercy endure forever. Therefore, we come calling upon you to give wisdom, guide us, direct us, lead us. We thank you for those who come and given of themselves unstintingly to serve in this present age. Many of them are having to serve even as they contend with personal issues and family matters. I ask for your grace, for your grace is amazing. I ask that you strengthen, perfect, and settle. We call upon the exceeding greatness of your power, for we know that you're able to cause us to see, hear, and to discern the times. We ask now that your power manifests, your purpose manifests, and your plans for this state, for the people around this state, be implemented. And we thank you, and we say amen, amen, amen. I'm so happy to have my wife, co-pastor Joaquina Winston, sharing also. She is a retired educator and a entertainment manager, and so I'm so happy to have her with me today. Thank you.
We always like to recognize our doctors of the day, and to do that for us, I recognize the senator from the 37th to introduce our doctor of the day.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, pleased to introduce you today Dr. Mayor Modi from my district just south of Cartersville. Dr. Modi is an oncologist who welcomes adults of all ages and stages of life to his practice. He believes in patient-centered approach and recognizes that his cancer patients rely on him not only for physical healing but also for emotional and spiritual support as well. He was trained at Emory, but his education was initially at Johns Hopkins University and the University of Florida College of Medicine. Dr. Modi enjoys spending time with his wife, running and hiking, and loves trying new restaurants and traveling whenever he can break away and has the opportunity. Another talented young doctor that we brought into the state. Glad to have him here. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Dr. Mayor Modi.
Thank you all for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate everything that you all do for the state of Georgia, for patients throughout the state of Georgia, and particularly cancer patients. It's an honor to practice in this state, and I look forward to the future of healthcare in the state. Thank you all.
If the guests behind me look familiar, it's because they were here last year celebrating a state championship, and they're going for three-peat this year. I asked their coach, who told me he was retiring last year, but now he tells me he's going to stay around a little bit longer. And they are our good friends from Harlem High School are currently 15-0 right now, going for a three-peat here. So, Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 75 by Senator Anderson, the 24th and others, resolution congratulating the Harlem High School Bulldogs baseball team for winning the 2024 GHSA Class 3A State Baseball Championship and for other purposes. Whereas this superlative team completed its triumphant season of baseball competition by posting an outstanding record of 38 wins and only 1 loss, and whereas the team brought special recognition to its school and to Columbia County by winning the 2024 GHSA Class 3A State Baseball Championship, and whereas the championship victory marks the 7th state championship under the guidance of head coach Jimmy Lewis, who now has more than 900 career wins. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body congratulate the Harlem High School Bulldogs baseball team for winning the 2024 GHSA Class 3A State Baseball Championship and extend best wishes for continued success. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. I recognize the senator from the 24th to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. It gives me great honor to introduce to you a legend, a gentleman that was born at Harlem, Georgia, went to Harlem High School, and he is coached, and he is the current baseball coach at Harlem High School for 49 years. This man has touched a lot of young men's lives, and they have been very productive in baseball. Thank you, Mr. President. He has his baseball team here today, and they're in the gallery, and I'd like for them to stand. All right. Y'all stand up. These young men have won back-to-back state championships, and now they're going for the third state title. But this coach behind me, his name is Jimmy Lewis. Valentine's Day this year, he won his 900th win. And today it gives me great honor to introduce you to a man that next week we're going to name the baseball field after him, the Jimmy Lewis baseball field, Harlem, Georgia. Jimmy Lewis.
Appreciate it, Senator Anderson. Appreciate y'all having us here and the baseball team. And let me go right ahead and say that we won 900 games. I didn't. We won 900. My players, my coaches, my fans, and they let me be part of it. But we appreciate it. We got the team here. We're here because they won it last year. We were 38-1, and we won the state championship over the last 3 years. We're 88-2. And the kids work hard, they play hard, they do what we ask. They're good students, and they behave, and they play hard, and they win. And that's makes coaching, a real easy job for me. I've been there all my life. I enjoy it. One of these days, like I always say, when I grow up, I'm going to retire. But right now, I don't feel like growing up, and I've got a desire, and the Lord's given me the health to stay there. So we'll see how it goes. But we appreciate y'all and appreciate you having us here. And real quick, like before I say anything else, I want to introduce one of my coaches, Coach Rusty James, and let him just say a word or two. Now, Rusty, you can't say much, just a word or two. Come on up.
I'll make this brief. Last year was my last year coaching baseball. I was lucky enough to get an opportunity in an assistant principal's job at Evans High School. And you really don't realize what you have until it's gone. And this last year has been an amazing experience for me, being able to meet new people and impact young people in the way that I want to. But when you leave a program like Harlem High School, you realize how special it was. And the atmosphere of family. The importance of the other coaches and how they become brothers, and the impact the ball players had on you as a man. So I just want to say thank you. And Coach Lewis is going to try to divert some of the credit here, but this program is what it is because of Jimmy Lewis. So he deserves the credit and the recognition he's getting now. Thank you.
I want to challenge each senator. When you give a resolution, do it the right way. Senator from the 8th, Senator from the 8th, do it the right way.
I'm going to introduce two captains we have with us from last year's team. This is this year's team, but a lot of them couldn't make it today that graduated. But first of all, we got Amerson Guy right here. If you recognize the last name, I know he's tired of hearing this, but his grandfather was Ray Guy, the punter for the Oakland Raiders. And Trey Jennings right here was another captain. They did a great job. They won us a state championship last year, 38-1. Like I said, they need a big round of applause. Thank you.
All right, we have some more student athletes that are champions on the court here. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 263 by Senator Gannon, the 47th, and others. Resolution congratulating the Jefferson High School volleyball team for winning the 2024 GHSA 3A Volleyball State Championship and for other purposes. Whereas the team claimed victory at the 2024 GHSA 3A Volleyball State Championship for the first time in school history, and whereas the phenomenal performance of the team is a clear indication of the outstanding ability, dedication, hard work, and unity of purpose and spirit of each member, as well as the astute direction of coaches Brittany Lawrence and Drew Lawrence. And whereas this amazing team has earned a well-deserved reputation for excellence by performing with heart and courage over months of training and competition, it is abundantly proper to call them champions. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body congratulate the Jefferson High School volleyball team for winning the 2024 3A Volleyball State Championship and extend best wishes for continued success. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. I recognize the senator from the 47th. Speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, we start looking at some of our great athletes around the state, and I know the senator from the 24th, he may have the best photo resolution to do, but the senator from the 24th, if I could get your attention. The senator from the 24th, I just want to make sure you understand, it's not the resolution actually that makes the presentation. It's the good looks of the presenters. And what I've got here today is the Jefferson High School state champion AAA team, and I want to recognize parents and the rest of the team up here. If y'all would all rise, I'm going to call on Miss Caitlin Johnson to address the resolution. She's actually a senior, and God knows where she's going to college, because it's somewhere up in Tennessee, and why she's picking out a state of Georgia to go. But Caitlin, come up and address us.
I just want to thank everyone for letting us come here and celebrate this. I think I can speak for all of us when this is like a really huge deal. As a senior, this was all I ever wanted. And to achieve it with this great team and to be surrounded by a great coaching staff and a great community is just an honor and a blessing. So thank y'all.
Good job. Thank you, Caitlin. We'll give you this. One other trivia. They tell lies down on the second floor about how much gold is on the roof. It's a soccer ball full of, or volleyball full of gold. Said in actuality, it doesn't weigh 1,200 pounds.
Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 368 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending Minister Dara Khaliri for his outstanding public service and for other purposes. Whereas appointed on January 23rd, 2025, he currently serves as the Irish Minister for Social Protection and Minister for Rural and Community Development and the Gaeltacht. And whereas prior to his current roles, he served as Minister for State and Trade Promotion, Digital and Company Regulation in the Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment. And in 2020, held the positions of Minister for Agriculture and Government Chief Whip. And whereas from 2018 to 2020, he served as deputy leader of Fianna Fáil and has also served as spokesperson on Justice, Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation, Public Expenditure and Reform, and Social Protection. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend Minister Dara Khaliri for his efficient, effective, and unselfish, dedicated public service and extend the most sincere best wishes for continued health and happiness. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Recognize the pro tem to speak to the resolution. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. It's always special when we get to invite special guests, and we've got some real special folks here this morning. You know, St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, and our friends from Ireland come to Georgia just in time for us to celebrate together. It's with deep appreciation that I rise to recognize and commend the exemplary leader, Minister Dara Khaliri, for his outstanding dedication to public service and his unwavering commitment to the people of Ireland. I want to tell you just a little bit about his experience before, but I'm not going to read all of it because he is so well-heeled and so experienced we'd be here all morning. But Minister Khaliri's career has been defined by his leadership, integrity, and passion for improving the lives of Irish citizens. Since his appointment as the Irish Minister of Social Protection and the Minister for Rural and Community Development in January of this year, he has worked tirelessly to advance the policies that strengthen communities, foster economic opportunities, and ensure the well-being of the most vulnerable in society. Minister Khaliri's tenure in public service extends much further than just his recent appointment, having served in various positions, including the Minister of State at the Department of Enterprise, Trade, and Employment with a responsibility for labor affairs, as well as the Department of Finance for Public Service Transformation from 2009 to 2011. His commitment to service is not merely a role, but it is a calling with him. His leadership and vision have earned him the respect and admiration of his colleagues, constituents, and various citizens alike. His contributions to governance and tireless efforts in shaping stronger, more prosperous Ireland that make him truly deserving of this recognition. I anticipate he's going to tell you some news about some additional efforts he is making to build more connectivity between Ireland and Georgia in particular for additional business opportunities, and I look forward to hearing more details of that. It truly is a pleasure to have him here. I want to welcome him and his distinguished members that I'm going to ask him to introduce when he comes. So let's give a great warm welcome for our friends from Ireland. Minister.
Lieutenant Governor, President Pro Tem, Senators, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your very warm welcome and your giving us the opportunity to be with you here today. I'm delighted to be joined by Team Ireland representatives, Frank Groom, our consul here in Atlanta, Nicole Shields, our Deputy Consul, Eamon McCormick and Craig Dwyer from my own department back in Dublin. And we are absolutely delighted to be with you as we begin the celebrations of our national feast day, St. Patrick's Day. We are very lucky as a country that our national feast day is shared and is celebrated internationally, with over 70 million people across the world who claim Irish heritage, including 1 million Georgians. So we're delighted to be here for their National Day too. Our connections with Atlanta, with Georgia, and with the South are deep and they are historic. I want to make a moment to thank everybody who built those connections, those who have passed for generations after generations. And we are renewing and refreshing those connections all of the time. As a new Irish government that took office on the 23rd of January, we want to refresh them by investing further in our presence across the southern states, and we have a commitment in our programme for government to do that. We have college football in common, along with many historical and industrial links. I was delighted to be here in Atlanta in 2023 when we launched the 2024 college football game with Georgia Tech and Florida State in Dublin last September.
I know many of you made the trip as part of a parliamentary delegation, and you had the win in Dublin for the second time. So Dublin is lucky country for this. I know Georgia is particularly proud of your title as the #1 state in which to do business. And Ireland is one of the best countries in the world in which to do business too. So we share that ambition together. Over 10,000 Georgians are employed by Irish-owned companies, and we want to grow that figure. And tomorrow we will be opening here in Atlanta an office for Enterprise Ireland, our state support agency for enterprises, allowing Irish enterprises to continue to grow here in Georgia, to grow their presence, to grow their employment, and to deepen our economic links between your great state and my great country. Last year we marked 100 years of formal diplomatic relations between Ireland and the United States of America. We all know that the connections go far deeper and go back far longer than that. But we will renew the formal connections and build on them culturally, economically, socially, all with our shared ambition, our shared pride at the heart of it. I'm also Minister for the Irish language, the Gaeilge, which is our main national language. We have a phrase in Gaeilge which says, Ní neart le cur le céile. There is no strength without unity. With a shared commitment to building unity, we will build a combined strength. Thank you for your welcome today. Thank you for your commitment, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Gurmina Magov.
Are there any unanimous consents? Does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Recognize the senator from the 8th.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I have the honor of being able to represent Valdosta State, and I have a resolution here honoring them and their football team. They went all the way to the national championship this year. And also want to mention during the hurricane, they had some adversity. We all had some adversity, didn't we, Mr. President? The esteemed president of this body, he actually sponsored the football team to go to the Falcons game. So I want to thank you for that, Mr. President. That was a tough time, and we were grateful for it. I want to read this resolution real quick. Congratulating the Valdosta State University football team for winning the 2024 Gulf South Conference Championship, the Super Region 2 title, and reaching the NCAA Division II National Championship game, and for other purposes. Whereas Valdosta State University is nationally known for its tradition of athletic and academic excellence, having won 9 national championships and 57 Gulf South Conference titles in multiple sports, as well as having numerous athletes win academic all-conference and academic all-American titles. And whereas the 2024 Valdosta State football team won the program's 11th Gulf South Conference championship, marking the most of any school in the Gulf South Conference history. Whereas the Blazers reached the national championship game for the 7th time in program history and 3rd time since 2018, while the 7 appearances in the title game are second.
Hold on one second, Senator. Hold on. Everybody, please give the senator his attention.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. While the 7 appearances in the title game are second most all-time in NCAA Division II history, And whereas the Valdosta State University football team has established and maintained a proud tradition of excellence with equal emphasis on character and academics, and whereas this outstanding team has completed another championship season football competition by posting an outstanding record of 13 wins and only 1 loss, marking the 5th time in program history of winning 13 games or more. Whereas this season also marked the team's 20th appearance in the NCAA postseason, the 34 postseason victories are the 4th most of all time in Division II. Whereas the football team has now had 5 different Blazer head coaches reach the NCAA title game, marking the most number of coaches reaching the championship at one school in Division II history. Whereas the phenomenal performance of the 2024 season saw the team go undefeated in league play for the 6th time in program history, finished the season with 5 All-America selections, and recognized quarterback Sammy Edwards as a finalist for the prestigious Harlan Hill Award for the 2nd straight year. Whereas the Blazer football team now stands at 346 victories with 138 defeats and 4 ties in 42 played seasons of football, with the 2024 team posting the 5th season of double-digit victories in program history. Whereas this magnificent team earned its well-deserved reputation for excellence by performing with courage and precision over months of training and competition, it is abundantly proper to call them champions. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body congratulate the Valdosta State University football team for winning the 2024 Gulf South Conference Championship, the Super Region II title, and qualifying for the NCAA Division II National Championship game, and extend our best wishes for continued success. My friends, Dr. Carver Hall, Steve and Tyler, y'all stand up. My friends from Valdosta State, y'all stand up and be recognized. We're proud of you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Go Blazers. Good job, guys. Thank you, Senator.
We appreciate y'all being here today, too.
Recognize the Senator from the 36 for appointed personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. March is Women's History Month all across the land. And we've also concluded a very successful Yellow Rose event today, recognizing women from across the state who were awarded the Yellow Rose Award from the Women's Caucus. But I'm here on Women's History Month to honor and recognize a Georgian, Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagan. She's not only a trailblazer in music, but also an activist and a scholar. And her work has shaped the fabric of our history and culture. Dr. Reagan was born in 1942 in Albany, Georgia. She grew up in the segregated South, where she found both her voice and her purpose in the fight for justice. As a young college student, at Albany State, she became deeply involved in the civil rights movement, joining the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and using music as a tool for resistance and unity. Dr. Reagan was a founding member of the Freedom Singers, the SNCC Freedom Singers, a group that traveled across the country singing songs of protest and hope, bringing people together in the struggle for equal rights and raising money for civil rights work in the Deep South. Dr. Reagan's work did not stop with the movement of the 1960s. She went on as a Spelman graduate to become a leading historian and scholar of African American culture, dedicating her career to preserving and celebrating black musical traditions. She founded in 1973 Sweet Honey in the Rock, an all-female African American a cappella group that blends gospel, spirituals, blues, and folk music with powerful messages of justice, resilience, and empowerment. For over 5 decades, this group, Sweet Honey in the Rock, has been a voice for change, inspiring audiences around the world. And Dr. Reagan's impact extends beyond music. She's a scholar, educator, and curator, a professor, and working with the Smithsonian Institute to document and preserve the legacy of black musical traditions. Dr. Reagan's work reminds us music is not just art, it's history, it's resistance, and it's a force for progress. During National Women's Month, we celebrate women like Dr. Reagan, whose contributions have transformed not just one movement, but generations of movements for justice, equality, and cultural preservation. Her voice, both in song and in scholarship, has been a guiding light, and her legacy will continue to inspire us for years to come, although she passed away in 2024. So I offer you these remarks and honor the name and work and lifetime legacy of Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagan, an Albany native.
Recognize the senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, if you'll look on your desk, you've got some coffee from Living Room Roasters. Today is Stevens County Day at the Capitol, and Living Room Roasters is owned by Alan and Haley Brewer. They're both graduates from Toccoa Falls College, and they started this business in their living room. Now they have a brick and mortar location in downtown historic district in Toccoa. Stevens County is home to Toccoa Falls, which most of you know is on the cover of the Georgia Travel Guide magazine this year. In the gallery today, we have with us a big group from Toccoa. If they would rise, we've got commissioners from the county, we've got commissioners from the city, our sheriff, Rusty Fulbright, Toccoa Police Chief, Bruce Carlisle, Mayor Terry Carter, our school superintendent, our development authority, Chamber of Commerce, and a number of community leaders. I don't know if there's anybody left in Stevens County today. We've got such a great group, but if y'all would please join me in welcoming them to the chamber and celebrating Stevens County today. With that, Mr. President, I'll yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Very nice to have the leadership from Stevens County here today. Thank you, Senator, for recognizing them. I recognize the senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I am truly delighted to recognize one of the servant leaders of our community as we celebrate the Nicotine Round the Servant Leadership Awards, and it goes to Ms. Pamela Collins of Senate District 17, who lives in Clayton County, actually in Jonesboro. Ms. Collins is a graduate of Spelman College, and she has been in the health field industry for the past 30 years. She was the founding president of the National Council of Negro Women, the Clayton County section. She's a member of Clayton County Black Women Speak, and she is a volunteer for the Martin Luther King Ecumenical Service and Prayer Breakfast. So I am delighted and honored to recognize her today. She's in the gallery, Ms. Pamela Collins, our Servant Leadership Award honoree for Senate District 17. Would you please stand? Give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I yield the way.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Very nice to have your guests here today. Recognize the Senator from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I want to give a warm welcome to the Noonan Youth Council. They are doing great things. They're growing leaders back home in the great city of Holmes, and they are with us in the gallery. If y'all will stand and be recognized, we appreciate y'all being here. And I will see y'all shortly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Always good to have folks from Noonan, Georgia down. Recognize the Senator from the 41st.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to honor the great women of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated who are here today for Sigma Gamma Rho Day. I happen to be a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho. The women of Sigma Gamma Rho are committed to service and scholarship and to sisterhood. Since we were founded in 1922, we've been dedicated to uplifting communities through education, civic engagement, and social action. Today, we gather for SG Rho Day, and we gather to affirm and reaffirm our commitment to advocacy, ensuring that the voices of our members and the communities that we serve are heard. Together, we continue to push for positive change, championing initiatives that empower and uplift all. I'm so glad to introduce and welcome the ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator from the 15th, I meant to recognize you last time. What purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 10th.
Without objection, the Senator from the 10th is excused. Recognize the Senator from the 38th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise today. I drew a lucky straw because I get to stand here on behalf of the senator from the 28th and recognize someone that is really special to me, a dear friend of mine, former State Representative Alicia Thomas Searcy, who is here with us in the gallery today. Yep, give her a hand. Yeah. So as we all know, we see all of our ladies walking around looking lovely in black and gold with the yellow roses on, and they're recognizing women that have done amazing work in our community. And so Alicia Thomas Searcy has been a very close friend of mine, so I'm really privileged to recognize her. I also want to point out that her husband, my fraternity brother Carlos Searcy, is here. He is a former state trooper and also used to keep us safe here at the Capitol, so many folks will recognize him from being here down at the Capitol as well. So Alicia Thomas Searcy is the first African-American and woman elected to the Georgia House of Representatives from Cobb County in 2003. She has an unwavering commitment to education policy and reform, serving as the sponsor of the state's intra-district transfer law and co-sponsoring both the state's constitutional amendment that established the State Charter Schools Commission and the state's teacher evaluation law. Alicia Thomas Searcy is also dedicated to ensuring every child has access to a high-quality education regardless of zip code, and she has built a career as a policymaker, superintendent, and nonprofit leader, devoting her efforts to improving educational outcomes for students across Georgia. Currently, Alicia Thomas Searcy is the president of the Southern Region for Education Reform Now and Democrats for Education Reform. She continues to shape education policy, advocate for equitable outcomes for students, and support teachers through initiatives and leadership. She is also an entrepreneur, and many folks may recognize her as a regular contributor on Fox 5 Atlanta's Georgia Gang. She is also a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and has done amazing work with so many folks around this state and across the country. And I will say this senator would not be standing here today had it not been for her unwavering support as we have worked so closely together in the education space. So I just want to congratulate you, former State Representative Searcy, and thank you for all that you continue to do for students across Georgia and across the country. And Mr. President, I yield the will.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate that. I recognize the Senator from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am the senator from the 14th, and this is Trump Morning News. Trump Morning News, your number one leader in Trump News Entertainment, keeping you apprised of the health of your democracy. Unfortunately, recently in Trump Morning News, we have experienced budget cuts due to an overall lack of funding for independent journalism. So after our brief hiatus, we've decided to send our show to podcast form in the form of talk radio. Well, welcome everybody this morning. There's a lot going on with Trump Morning News. Look, it's been 2 weeks. You can pack a lot into 2 weeks. Am I right? Whew. So look, let's talk about polling numbers. 56% of voters disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. That's the lowest it's ever been, folks, the approval rating. It is a lower approval rating than at any point during his first term on the economy. And what would you think is going on in the rest of the world? Well, everybody who's opposing Trump is having increased polling numbers. You know, President Trump is doing his best in Canada to make Canadian liberals great again. Ever since Trudeau resigned at the beginning of this year, the vote share for Canadian liberals, something like 25%, conservatives maybe in the 40s. Those numbers have now gone to the middle by 10%. So Canadian liberals' vote share 10% higher than it was just a few short weeks ago. Conservative vote share dropping. The conservative politicians up there doing their best to post Canada first. Folks, they're getting blown up in the comments. Kristi Noem went up there and called it the 51st state, a very offensive thing to say to our closest ally to the north, who we did have a great trading relationship with, but hey, trade war is on, folks. Look what's happening across the world. We've got 25% on steel and 50% coming back at us from Europe on spirits. Well, what did President Trump threaten this morning? An increase to 200%. I'm glad the President knows that 200 is greater than 50, but as you can see, trade wars can escalate completely out of control. And so that's where we are, folks. It's crazy. Meanwhile, what's President Trump doing for the economy on the home front? An extended ad for Tesla cars. Am I right? Did you see him on the White House lawn with the Tesla cars arranged? White House counsel didn't clear that, folks. He gets into the car, and what did he say about the model that he saw in front of him? Everything's computer. Everything's computer about the Tesla. Anyway, let's move on to some serious stuff. I know there's a lot of serious stuff on your mind. For example, in Georgia, we had a contract, a $12 million contract for Manna, a nonprofit that serves malnourished kids worldwide. That $12 million has been officially canceled. I know you're waiting with bated breath when we said it was under attack when USAID funding was originally paused. Well, that is officially gone. And there's some other serious stuff. Folks, I hate to say it. Elon Musk this morning retweeted a claim that Stalin and Hitler did not kill millions of people, and instead their public sector workers did. I repeat, today, Musk retweeted a claim that Stalin and Hitler did not kill millions of people, and that their public sector workers did, effectively denying responsibility for Hitler for the Holocaust and blaming bureaucrats instead. Folks, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. By the way, Musk is still running Doge, still trying to dismantle the federal government. But everything is super normal in Washington, D.C., super normal here in Atlanta, Georgia. As always, thanks for tuning in to Trump Morning News. We know y'all can't do anything about it because you're state legislators, and certainly the Republicans couldn't have done anything in the last 20 years to stop this. Mr. President, I happily yield the well.
All right, Senator. Senator, I was afraid that you'd gotten shy on us. I'm glad to have you. Glad to see you back here. So thank you, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 2nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I rise to acknowledge Savannah State University as the 2025 SIAC champs, defeating Tuskegee University. I see the senator from the 26th was here. I don't know where he is, but we're proud of that. And also, we have Savannah High School, who won their first state title in 27 years, winning the boys Class A Division II state championship, defeating McIntosh County Academy Buccaneers. Sorry for the senator from the 3rd, but we're extremely proud of the winningness that we've had going on in Chatham County, with Savannah State University winning the SIAC 2025 championship and Savannah State High School winning their first state championship in 27 years. So congratulations to Savannah State University and to Savannah State High School boys basketball team. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the well.
Recognize the senator from the 7th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, you have a letter on your desk. I hope you will read it. Today I rise to sound the alarm. We are facing a serious crisis, and the people of this state deserve to know the facts. A bombshell report out of Florida has exposed what many of us have long suspected, that the insurance company has been rigging the system in its favor while squeezing every last dollar out of homeowners. And while they cry poor to regulators, while they say lawsuits are killing them, while they claim they need to raise rates, and while they tell us they're on the brink of collapse, behind closed doors, they're raking in billions. They are not struggling. They are not drowning. They are cashing out, lining the pockets of investors while leaving homeowners to fend for themselves. And I'm here to tell you, Georgia is next. We already know that our state follows the same playbook. Georgia insurance companies are structured just like Florida's. We have the same network of parent companies and affiliate firms moving money around to make losses look bigger than they really are. And we will soon have the same skyrocketing rates, the same denials of coverage, the same owners desperate for relief. If they duped lawmakers in Florida and got away with it, why wouldn't they do it here? Especially when they know no one is looking. The insurance company is pushing Senate Bill 68, which would take the rights of Georgians and give more power to them. We must not take Georgians' rights before we investigate the insurance industry. I recently wrote a letter to Commissioner John King demanding an investigation into Georgia's insurance industry. I asked him to do his job to dig into the financial relationships between insurers and their affiliates to find out if these companies are misleading the public just like they did in Florida. But guess what? He responded, and he thinks everything is fine, and he will not do an investigation. But let's be clear. Georgia families cannot afford for our insurance market to collapse the way Florida's did. We have already seen a 55% increase in home insurance rates since 2019. We have already seen South Georgia families waiting months, even years, for insurance payouts after hurricanes. And if we let these companies continue unchecked, if we sit back while they siphon money out of this state, then Georgia families will be the ones who pay the price. Extreme weather events are going to happen more and more frequently. There is now a $1 billion disaster on average every 12 days across the United States. The burden of these disasters must not fall squarely on homeowners alone. And Florida homeowners are losing their homes right now because they simply can't afford insurance anymore. They're getting priced out of their own lives. And if we don't act, the same fate awaits the people of Georgia. Now let me ask my colleagues in this chamber, what are we waiting for? Are we waiting until insurance rates double? Until they triple? Are we waiting until people are forced out of their homes? Until neighborhoods are gutted? Until the only ones who can afford to live in this state are the ones profiting off of it? And I refuse to stand by and watch that happen. I refuse to let working families be crushed under the weight of corporate greed. And I refuse to let lawmakers in this building sell out our own constituents while insurance companies run away with record profits. And we have a choice right now. We can stand with the people of Georgia, or we can stand with the insurance companies that are robbing them blind. And we can demand accountability, or we can look the other way while the next crisis unfolds before our eyes. I, for one, will not look the other way. And Commissioner King, I expect an investigation. And to my colleagues in this chamber, so should you, because the people of Georgia deserve the truth, and they deserve a government that fights for them. Thank you, and I yield the well.
Recognize Senator from the 55th.
My distinguished colleagues, I rise today to simply commend the contributions of members of the faith and clergy community. This recognizing today, Thursday, March 13th, as the 25th Annual Faith and Clergy Appreciation Day at the Capitol. I am so honored to do this because as the first year in the Senate, and I look back in all those years ago as I served in the House, as the people of faith, Georgia is most fortunate to have a very diverse community of religious faith represented in local communities throughout this great state. Spiritual leaders of these various faiths provide tremendous comfort, hope, support, and joy to the individuals and families they proceed through life, helping them to find God's direction for the road ahead. And through their teachings, the clergy have inspired spiritual understanding and peace to persons from all walks of life. And it is found in the first book of Thessalonians. Paul instructed the people to know them that labor among them and over you in the Lord, to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake. Such wise words have application in all faiths, as it is incumbent upon all of us to acknowledge the great deeds and sacrifices of our ministers, people of faith, to express our deepest appreciation and service. And I would ask that you would just commend these persons. Thank you, Pastor Ron, and a number of other persons. Thank all of you colleagues for recognizing this day, and you are invited to join us. Those that are in the gallery, thank you, and we will be in 216 for a faith panel and lunch, room 216. Thank you. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. All right, we got last one. Recognize the senator from the 28th.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I'm Senator James, and you remember that it was this body that helped us create a city called South Fulton. And it took years, but we finally passed it. So a lot of people think this is just the city's day, South Fulton Day at the Capitol, but it's the whole county. And it's by our Chamber of Commerce, and the president of our Chamber of Commerce is here. South Fulton Chamber of Commerce president is Diane Matthews. Wave, Diane. Oh, she's and president, and she's the president and CEO of the South Fulton County Chamber of Commerce. That's Hayville, East Point, College Park, Union City, Fairburn, Palmetto, the city of South Fulton, some of Southwest Atlanta, and Chattahoochee Hills. Also, we have Deidre Brown, and she is an organizer of the Queens. It's about 6 of them that are here, and they're from South Fulton. And where's the queen that's with us? She's with us today, and she's from the school in my district, Langston Hughes, and that is Alicia Fields. And I hope that she becomes they're running for the Queen of Atlanta very soon. Also, we have some of our city council persons from the city of South Fulton. J.C. Sebastian, where are you? And Carmelita Gums. We have Kathy Hood. She's the Vice President of Marketing for the City of South Fulton's Chamber of Commerce. Kelsey Rook is from Georgia Power, and she's on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. And we have former Mayor Bill Edwards. Bill, raise your hand. Yeah, everybody's cheering for him, but you know, many years ago, he challenged me for this 30. And I just won by the hair of my chin. So we had to become good friends. And then he ran for the Fulton County Commissioner of District 7. And you were there about 10 years, right? 14 years. See, I'm telling my age too, okay. But then he was our first mayor of the city of South Fulton. And that's when you got our budgets balanced and so many other great things, and wish you were there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me about the South Fulton County Day at the Capitol. And please, if you would like, we have lunch around 12 o'clock down in room 125. So please join us for a meal. Thank you. I yield well. And we have many of our South Fulton Chamber members board up in the gallery. So let's give them a warm Senate welcome, everyone. Thank you very much. I yield well. Oh, Jesus. Let me see.
Does any other senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? You have a consent calendar of privilege resolutions. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution on the consent calendar? Chair hears none. The resolution on the consent calendar is adopted. Recognize the senator from the 45th. Recognize the senator from the 45th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent that House Bill 647 be withdrawn from the Committee on State and Local Government and be committed to the Committee on State and Local Government in general.
Secretary, read the caption.
House Bill 647 by Representative Donatucci, the 105th, and others. The bill to be entitled an act to amend an act to incorporate the city of Mulberry, approved February 13th, 2024, so as to change the corporate city limits of the city to provide for legal matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator's moved. Is there objection? Senator from the 41st objects. Senator from the 45th, would you like to speak to your motion? You waive. Senator from the 41st, like to speak to it? No, you waive. All right, they both waive. Senator has moved that HB 647 be recommitted to state and local governmental operations general bill. Those in favor of the senator's motion will vote yea. Those opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the motion, the yeas are 34, the nays are 18, and this motion has prevailed. You have a local consent calendar before you. Mr. Secretary, have there been any objections?
Mr. President, no objections have been filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of committee on state and local governmental affairs, which is favorable to the passage of the bill? On the local consent calendar, chair hears none. Report of the committee is agreed to. Questions on the passage of the bill on the local consent calendar. All those in favor will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. Recognize Senator from the 26th. For what purpose did you rise?
Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the rules be suspended and be able to introduce two local bills to be read and assigned to a committee.
All right. Just wait a second. So, your motion will be in order, Senator. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 0, and the bill is on the local consent calendar. Having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Senator from the 26th. Senator from the 26th. Your motion, naming.
Mr. President, I ask that the rules be suspended in order for 2 local bills to be introduced and read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Senator, that would, if we could have the captions to the bills so they can be read. All right, the Senator has moved that we suspend our rules here to local bills. Is there objection? Is there objection? All right, we do have objection. The Senator from the 26th has moved that we suspend the rules so that we can have a first reading, and the bills that he is introducing, that the Senator from the 26th is introducing, can be assigned to the appropriate committee. We have objection. All those in favor of the Senator from the 26th motion will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. You must have 38 votes to suspend the rules. Recognize the senator from the second.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. President.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, is it not true that voting red on the senator from the 26th is a bad posture moving forward, especially as we come to sine die?
Senator is passionate about what he speaks. Senator for the 14th, what purpose you rise?
Mr. President, parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, the senator's been serving for 50 years. Can't we give him 2 local bills?
Senator, that's what the vote is all
2
about.
local bills, y'all.
That's what this,
50 years. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's what the vote is all about, Senator. On the motion, the yeas are 23 and the nays are 28, and this motion needed 38 votes to prevail, and it has failed. Recognize the senator from the second.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for reconsideration of the Senate's action.
Is there objection? There's objection. All those in favor of the motion vote yea. All opposed, nay. Senator from the 26th, for what purpose you rise?
Mr. President, isn't this a local bill?
Sir, I'm sorry.
I say, isn't this a local bill?
It would seem so. It would seem so, Senator.
Under the local delegation rules, you have to have a majority of 2 signatures on the bill in order for it to get through the committee.
Yes.
So isn't it also true that what I'm doing is getting it read and assigned to committee? I still have to get another senator to sign it in order for it to be local legislation and go through the committee process.
That is very true, Senator.
Thank you very much, sir.
The senator from the second moved that the previous motion be reconsidered. All those in favor of his motion will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. Senator from the 9th, what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that the city of Mulberry has gone around local process several times, so now it is an issue that the senator from the 26th is asking for the same thing?
Senator is passionate about what she speaks. Senator from the 41st, what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that it is a regular practice of this body to suspend to allow for first reading of rules and resolutions?
It has been done before, Senator, but it's always voted on by the body. On the motion for reconsideration, the yeas are 19 and the nays are 32, and the motion of reconsideration has failed. Moving on to the rules calendar. Secretary read House Bill 81.
House Bill 81 by Representative Ballard of the 147th and others, bill between town and act to amend Chapter 6, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated related to education compacts. Says to enter into the interstate compact for school state colleges, to provide for a short title, to provide for definitions, to provide for provisions of the compact, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Education and Youth recommends this bill do pass or subject to minutes. Senator Hickman, Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize Senator from Perry, Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I bring to you today House Bill 81, which is an initiative developed by the Council of State Governments in collaboration with the Department of Defense and the National Association of School Psychologists, the Professional Standards Commission and the Georgia Association of School Psychologists are supportive, as well as the Georgia Chamber of Commerce. You'll see a letter of support from them on your desk. What this bill does is enters Georgia into an interstate compact of school psychologists. When 7 or more states approve this measure, we will have an interstate compact which would reduce barriers to certification for school psychologists from the member states coming into Georgia. It ensures only qualified professionals are authorized to provide services and aligns with our Senate priorities of literacy.
Senator, hold on one second. Can we have everybody's attention in the chamber, please? If you got to have a conversation, take it outside, please. We've been a little loud all day long, so please show the senator a little respect and give him the attention he needs. Senator, sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll need that. A little respect. RESPECT. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield up here. I get no respect. So where was I? So House Bill 81 aligns with the Senate priorities of promoting literacy and school safety. It will take 7 states to form the compact. By being one of the early states to get in this, we will have the ability to influence the sort of enabling language of the compact. Currently, the states in the compact are West Virginia and Colorado, but there are similar bills or identical bills in the legislatures of Oregon, Nevada, North Dakota, Kansas, Alabama, Florida, Maryland, Vermont, Nebraska, and New Jersey. We are in desperate need of school psychologists. There's a shortage like we see in a lot of our workforce areas, and this bill will help with our workforce shortage in that area. So I ask for your favorable consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions. If there are none, I will yield the well.
You do have one question, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 53rd.
Does the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
Do you have respect for psychologists in places like Oregon or Colorado?
Well, I do know that we are having mental health issues and problems throughout our society, and I think school psychologists are a good front line to help young people school psychologists deal with various issues, and will help them get on the right track. So.
Senator from the 33rd, do you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to vote for this bill, but I was wondering, will us senators have access to these psychologists when we need help?
Well, maybe we can get one as the doctor of the day occasionally. That would be helpful. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. You were Ric Flair last week. You Rodney Dangerfield this week. You got the respect you were asking for, Senator. Secretary read House Bill 167.
House Bill 167 by Representative Hagan, the 156 and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 3 of Title 27 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated related to hunting so as to authorize fluorescent pink hunting outer garments, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and the Environment recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Anderson, Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the Senator from the 49th to present the bill. Is this your hunting bill?
This is going to be interesting. Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. This is a kind of a lighthearted bill, should be anyway, but I imagine you guys are going to have some fun with it. Today I bring you HB 167, and I ask you guys to, gentlemen and ladies, to support this bill. I know a 21-year-old at my house that's going to be, she would greatly appreciate your support. What this bill does, it brings fluorescent pink to the outdoors, to the great outdoors. No longer will you be required to wear only a fluorescent orange vest, but fluorescent pink. 500 square inches of fluorescent pink will be sufficient. HB 167 does not limit the use of fluorescent pink to females. Gentlemen like my friend, the country lawyer from the 42nd, who's very comfortable in pink and his manhood, he'll be able to wear that to the great outdoors as well. Mr. President, I'm ready to take questions.
Yeah, you got some, Senator. I tell you what, this is your second bill this year, and I mean, I'm starting to question this senator from Hall County here. So, Senator from the 42nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the Senator yield?
I yield.
Let me just thank you first off for putting these pictures on our desks today. If you have any ink left in your pen, I'd love to get your signature before you leave, if you will. So as a North Georgia farmer, have you already had your custom-made pink vest made, or have you already ordered it?
I hadn't ordered it yet. I'm hoping to be able to order it as soon as we leave the chamber.
That'd be great. And so I was reading earlier this morning in a local publication, there was a quote from a fashion expert. I'm going to read this to you. It said, "I think you get taken a little bit more seriously if you're not trying to be really, really flashy, but if you're trying to look somewhat dignified, especially as a freshman and as a floor leader." Are you a fashion expert, freshman floor leader?
I have a philosophy on clothes.
Do you further yield?
Yes, sir.
So given your expertise as a North Georgia farmer and as a fashion expert, so if I'm going to go and hunt bears, hogs, and deer, would I look more dignified if I wore an orange vest or a pink vest?
That's what this bill does, Senator. It's up to you. It's more visually appealing to the wearer of the clothes. Just whatever you want.
Thank you.
Recognize Senator from the 51st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, would you pull the microphone up closer so the people back home can hear you? I'm curious about the color pink. Why did you pick pink out of all the colors on the color wheel?
Well, there's 10 other states across the country who have chosen pink, and what it's done, it's actually increased hunting license sales in those states. So, maybe some other colors may be added later.
So can you tell me how many shades of pink there are in the color
In
system?
the spectrum, I do not know.
Senator, can you tell me what the letters PMS mean to you?
I can.
Okay.
Premenstrual syndrome.
No, sir. PMS is called Pantone Matching System. It is a color wheel that's used to match colors for printing material. So, Senator, I'm not sure where your mind is this morning, but it's clearly not on your bill today.
Thank you.
Recognize the senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
I want to help you out a little bit. Are you aware that there's 240 different shades of pink?
Now I am.
And is there a specific shade in this bill that we're going to recognize as the official pink of Georgia hunters?
It's fluorescent pink.
Fluorescent
That's what
pink.
we've addressed.
I've gotten several calls from my district about pink. Is pink and pink, is that the same color, and would that be recognized?
Senator, I live about 2 miles from your district, and the higher we get in elevation there, the longer the draw on the color. So red is red, and pink is pink.
And white is
Yes,
white.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's right. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Senator, I think you were a recent scholar of Sir Thomas Carlyle, weren't you? The readings of Sir Thomas Carlyle, isn't that correct?
The president knows of what he speaks.
I think that book was called Sartor Resartus, which stood for, what was it again?
Taylor Retailer.
Taylor Retailer. And they had a name for a gentleman who lived to dress. Do you remember what that name was?
Dandy.
That is correct. I'm glad you reminded me, Senator. All right. You may yield, Senator.
I yield the well. I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
All right. The senator from Hall County, he keeps impressing here, guys. I'm telling you. Any other senator wish to speak? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. Senator from the 44th.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Hunting is a tradition deeply embedded in our culture, providing recreation, sustenance, and conservation benefits. However, one of the most critical aspects of hunting is safety. And today, I am so glad that we have this bill on the floor, sponsored by the representative and the senator, the best-dressed freshman here in the building, senator from the 49th. So I want to discuss this often overlooked yet vital component, fluorescent pink hunting outer garments. While many hunters traditionally opt for camouflage or fluorescent orange, recent changes, such as we are considering today, are going to authorize the use of fluorescent pink as an equally effective option for maintaining safety in the field. So first and foremost, let's discuss safety. The hunting community must prioritize safety above all else, and visibility plays a crucial role in preventing accidents. Traditional camouflage, while effective for concealing hunters from game, also makes them difficult to see by other hunters. This, colleagues, is where fluorescent pink garments can make a significant difference. In House Bill 167, hunters pursuing deer, bear, and even feral hogs during firearms season must wear at least 500 square inches of daylight fluorescent orange or fluorescent pink material above the waistline, including optional head coverings. This requirement is essential because studies show that wearing bright, highly visible colors dramatically reduces the risk of hunting accidents. The introduction today of fluorescent pink gives hunters an additional option while maintaining the same level of safety as the long-standing use of fluorescent orange. Fluorescent pink is an excellent choice because it's for many reasons. One is that it contrasts well against the natural backgrounds, making it easier for fellow hunters to spot one another in dense woods, open fields, and other varied terrains. Accidental shootings are an unfortunate reality in hunting at times, but by adhering to the visibility requirements, like those outlined in our existing code and in House Bill 167, we can significantly reduce these incidents and ensure safer hunting experiences for all. Beyond the laws that we are passing, fluorescent pink offers superior visibility in diverse hunting environments. Whether you're navigating thick forests, traversing open plains, or hunting in snowy conditions, the high contrast nature of fluorescent pink ensures hunters remain clearly visible to one another. In wooded areas where shadows and varying light conditions obscure movement, fluorescent pink stands out, cutting through the visual clutter. Similarly, in snow-covered regions, we don't have that many, but this is a good edification, good facts for y'all to be aware of. The high contrast nature of fluorescent pink ensures hunters, even in snowy conditions, remain clearly visible to one another. In wooded areas where shadows and varying light conditions cause problems, this is where fluorescent pink really makes a difference. The goal is to remain highly visible even at a distance, to be seen by fellow hunters while still remaining effective in the field, and fluorescent pink meets those criteria, offering this dual benefit. Colleagues, the benefits of fluorescent pink hunting gear extend beyond just safety. They also have a psychological impact on the wearer. Wearing a highly visible color increases confidence in the field by reducing anxiety about being mistaken for game. This allows hunters to focus more on their experience and enjoyment and less on the potential safety risks. Moreover, the normalization of fluorescent pink as a hunting color fosters a sense of community and shared responsibility. Hunters who choose to wear pink can be seen as advocates for safety, setting an example for others and reinforcing the importance of high visibility hunting apparel. Another critical aspect of this legislation and adopting fluorescent pink is the opportunity to break outdated stereotypes within the hunting community. Historically, hunting gear has been dominated by darker, more muted colors. typically associated with traditional gender roles. But by embracing fluorescent pink, we challenge these notions and promote inclusivity in the sport. The introduction of pink hunting gear encourages a broader audience to participate, making hunting more accessible and appealing to a new generation of hunters. Colleagues, whether you are a seasoned outdoorsman, a woman looking to take up hunting, or a young person curious about the sport, fluorescent pink serves as a welcoming, universally recognized symbol of safety and responsibility in the field. In conclusion, fluorescent pink hunting outer garments are not just a bold fashion statement. They are a vital tool for enhancing safety, improving visibility, and fostering a more inclusive hunting culture. I exhort a yes vote on House Bill 167. In passing this, we and our state of Georgia will take a significant step forward in allowing hunters the choice between fluorescent orange and fluorescent pink, both of which ensure a safer hunting environment for all. In fact, I urge all of you to consider incorporating fluorescent pink into your hunting wardrobe. Advocate for its use among your fellow hunters, as I will with mine. Educate newcomers about the importance of high visibility apparel and help make our hunting traditions safer and more inclusive for future generations. Together, we can create a culture of responsibility, visibility, and safety in the great outdoors. I thank the representative, and I thank the senator from the 49th for bringing forth this critical piece of legislation as a freshman. This took courage. This took courage. And today, he is wearing a pink shirt. Oh, and the representative is with him. Thank you, Representative Hagan, for your work. I can say it. Colleagues, it's wonderful to see us conduct this important business in the Senate chamber. Thank you for considering this legislation. Let us all go forward, arms linked, to create a safer and more inclusive hunting community. And with that, I am happy, Mr. President, to take questions, or I will yield the well, if there are none.
Senator, I'm impressed. I never knew you were so passionate.
Well, you know, Mr. President, it is Women's History Month, and today is the Legislative Women's Caucus Yellow Rose ceremony. So I was feeling a little bit fiery about this inclusion of pink. But I am happy to answer questions.
You do have a few.
All right, then. Delightful. I mean, it's very important, so I'm glad to see that.
I recognize the senator from the 41st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, do you yield?
I certainly do to my seatmate.
Senator, will you yield for a series of questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My first question is, in light of the fact that it is Yellow Rose Day, would you be interested in an amendment that would include fluorescent yellow to this list of choices for folks?
That is a great idea. Fluorescent yellow is actually known, when you think about it, as our safety color for like safety patrols. Orange is one, yellow is one. There were a number of students here this week, and their safety patrol apparatus was fluorescent orange, and I couldn't help but note how eye-catching it was. And I agree with you that that would create the similar visibility that the representative and the senator are going for in terms of hunting safety.
And do you further yield?
Yes, ma'am.
So while we're talking about choices for hunters, I'm curious, in your opinion, would you agree that it would be important to make sure that women have choices when it comes to their reproductive rights?
I do agree with that. And you know, again, it is Women's History Month. I am so glad to see this body moving forward, not just on safety, but in the recognition that there are many women who are hunters, right? And you know, we need to make progress on some of these other issues that also matter to women, Senator. Thank you for your questions.
All right, Senator from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a senator yield,
Certainly.
I certainly appreciate your passionate presentation, but are you aware that you said the word inclusion a lot during your speech?
I did, because really that's what this bill's about. It's
Senator,
safety and inclusion.
Senator, are you aware that word has been banned?
Oh, that's well, right. I forgot about that. My apologies.
Senator,
Yes,
do you
sorry,
receive
Senator.
any federal funding in your personal or professional capacity?
I mean, I don't think so, but let me check my wallet. Let me
Senator,
check my
are you
computer.
aware that if anyone finds out that you said inclusion from the well today several times, you may lose all of that federal funding?
What I am glad about, Senator, I'm worried about that, but I am glad I'm a citizen and not a green card holder, because we are worried. I'm not worried about my free speech rights right now. Yes, I might be able to be attacked on my wallet, but I still can stand here in this well, and I am honored and privileged to be a senator and be able to speak on behalf of my constituents, and I do think that that's what our citizens should be able to do under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution.
Thank you, Senator. I'll be honest, I missed that last answer because I started worrying and getting in my own head because I have also said the word inclusion today, so we might
did.
both be in trouble. Thank you, Senator.
Recognize Senator from the 19th. I recognize Senator from the 50th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does Senator yield?
Absolutely.
Isn't it true that because of your staunch advocacy for this bill and your inspiring speech that the two senators from Macon have come together, and that if one senator will make his motion again, there will not be an objection if you yield the well right now?
That would be my fondest wish.
Thank you.
Senator. All right, I'm sorry for all the rest of you that have questions and want to weigh in on the debate, but I will yield the well.
All right, good job, Senator. We have a late arriving amendment. Secretary, read the amendment.
Mr. President, Senator Mallett II offers the following amendment number 1 to amend House Bill 167 by amending line 25 to add lime green after fluorescent pink. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Senator from the 2nd, would you like to speak to your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. President. This morning, I rise with amendment number 1 to include lime green inside of this wonderful piece of legislation, considering that Monday will be St. Patrick's Day, and you can see green shamrocks, you can see a sea of green, and green is overwhelming, especially lime green. And being a Boy Scout for over 25 years, I have spent a lot of time in the woods, Mr. President, and I do believe that you can see fluorescent pink, you can see hunter orange, and you can also see lime green. And that lime green is important, especially with Monday being St. Patrick's Day. And considering, Mr. President, I'm also 50% Irish, I think it's only fitting that I include that. And so for my colleagues that seem to, Mr. President, not understand that I actually am Irish, you can look at my last name and understand that I'm also multiracial. And so my father is 100% Irish, and my great-grandfather immigrated from Ireland. And so don't let the complexion of one's skin deter you from understanding someone's actually Irish with an Irish last name, Mr. President, because I don't think it gets more Irish than Mallow, M-A-L-L-O-W. And if a quick Google search couldn't prove that it was Irish, I would just encourage my colleagues to get some good data so that they could Google and figure that out and find out, maybe some Ancestry.com, whatever they would do. But I think lime green, Mr. President, is an excellent color to be included in this legislation. And so, Mr. President, I would just ask for my colleagues' favorable consideration that we include lime green in this wonderful piece of legislation, especially in honor of St. Patrick's Day being on Monday, Mr. President. And with that, I see there may be another amendment arriving, so I will go ahead and yield the well.
All right, the man from Savannah has yielded the well. Would any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Recognize senator from the 29th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to tell our freshman senator I really appreciate him bringing this bill forward. And for those of you who may not be aware, this bill came from a young lady in Gwinnett County who enjoyed hunting. She felt that she was so involved in it that she wanted to have an impact in it, so she helped create this piece of legislation. She reached out to another lady that she admired, that she appreciated, to help create this, and that's what Representative Hagan did over in the House. And I know once Senator Thompson left, our late great friend, I started inheriting the role as being the grumpiest state senator, and while never comfortable with it to start with, I did come to embrace it. And so I would like to point out that today I truly hope the people that tune in and watch us do their business, or that stand in the halls and watch us do their business, are not as embarrassed of this show as I am. While the freshman senator knew the hazing and all that, that's part of the tradition, and I love every bit of that. But this is about gun safety. This is about a young lady who wanted to be a part of the political process. And this is about a young lady who looked up to another lady who served in the House of Representatives for the state of Georgia. And this is important to that young lady. And if it makes sense to us, then let's stop with the silly amendments. Let's stop with the silly comments and give that young lady who loves to hunt her opportunity to see legislation work in a positive way so that she can have stuff to brag about something that she's done, and hopefully make her a stronger woman. And with that, Mr. President, I'll yield for any questions.
You have one question. Senator from 37th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
No, for the record, I am wearing a lime green tie today. I had no idea that the debate would divert in this direction. But in all seriousness, I asked the author of the bill about fluorescent yellow, fluorescent lime green. Isn't it true that if scientifically the ability to decipher yellows and lime greens in a wooded hunting setting does not provide the kind of safety that the pinks and the oranges do? Isn't that true?
Those other colors tend to draw the attention of the hunter and tend to lead to more accidents, because a lot of hunters are more reactionary, especially new hunters when they go out. They're reactionary to certain colors where they would be more quick to train their weapon in that direction and fire without obtaining the target in a proper way. It's been determined that the colors you're talking about, the current orange, the pink that we're discussing here today, and a few other colors, tend to bring more caution to the shooter from a scientific standpoint.
So, gentleman, further yield.
I'll yield for one more question, yes.
So what I'm hearing today, we've had some frivolity and some discussion here, but the serious vote is to vote down the amendment, lighthearted though it be, and maintain fluorescent pink and fluorescent orange as the standard for hunter safety. Is that correct?
I agree with the senator from the 37th. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
All right. Senator from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in support of the legislation. I want to commend Representative Hagan for bringing a great bill. I want to commend the young lady who worked on the bill. It's an excellent piece of legislation that improves gun safety, and we will overwhelmingly support it. But if somebody else's role is to grump the situation, my role subsequently will be to ungrump it slightly. My only question for y'all is, when are we allowed to have fun versus when are we not? I got to commend the senator from the 44th on switching it up a little bit. You know, sometimes she gets accused of not switching it up. She switched it up that time, and we had a little bit of fun. But if that's enough to trigger a level of sensitivity about the work that we're doing in this chamber, to be accused of being silly, to be accused of not taking it seriously, then I would direct your attention back to the global state of affairs. We are living through times when comedy and entertainment are the only way that people are getting their news. People have been saying for years that The Daily Show, that Jon Stewart, the folks who do comedy commentating, is some of the only ways that they can even stomach listening to the news. So undoubtedly, if a headline gets written or attention gets grabbed because something goes in a slightly wayward direction, that's not just expected, that's in some cases necessary to engage the public on matters of public concern. Now, if you don't like that, there's a little segment I do once every other few days that is meant to be a little bit of satire about the state of the majority in D.C. and how it uses exactly the technique we're talking about, comedy, a little bit of satire, a little bit of frivolity, in order to capture not only the public's attention, but command its deep support. The loyalty that the president enjoys is because he is an entertainer and has been since he was featured on NBC, and Democrats are behind because we don't have yet the tools to match his entertainment value. If we can find a way as Democrats to be entertaining and not be a-holes, I actually apologize, pro tem, I told him I wouldn't do that. If we can find a way not to be abrasive, but to be as entertaining as the president, we might be onto something. So what I won't allow is for this debate to end on the grumpy, somber note that this is all serious business, that this is just about good policy making, because if that were true, I would not be in office. You wouldn't even know me. Because I got Trump deranged in 2016. I was diagnosed by a primary care physician with Trump derangement syndrome. And that's the only reason I ran for office. So if y'all don't like silliness, if y'all don't like entertainment, if y'all just want to do serious business all the time, then call your people and tell them to cut it out. Thanks, Mr. President.
All right. Senator from the 31st.
President, I move call to question to end this mockery to female outdoorsmen. Call to question.
From a second, do you have a parliamentary inquiry?
Thank you, Mr. President. Due to a drafting error on Amendment Number 1, I withdraw Amendment Number 1.
Is there objection? Without objection, Senate 1 is withdrawn. Senator, there's nobody else lined up to speak, so I think...
Mr. President, I will withdraw my motion. Let's go vote for Carly. Get this over with.
Okay. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? No objection. Previous question is ordered. Is there objection to agreeing to the report committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. Report committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea. All opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 0, and the senator from the 49th will not have another bill for the rest of the session. So, all right. So, senator from 26. You have a motion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me apologize for any discussion on the previous motion that I made. But today is not day 3. Am I correct?
You are correct, Senator.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that Senate Rules 3-1.2 and 4-2.1A be suspended to allow for 2 local bills to be read and assigned.
Secretary, read the caption. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Is there objection to the senator's motion? Without objection, Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 337 by Senator Lucas to the 26th, a bill to be entitled Act to amend an act known as the Macon Water Authority Act, approved March 23, 1992, as amended particularly by Act approved April 10, 2024, and an Act approved February 17, 2022, so as to change the description of the electoral districts, to provide for staggered terms of new members, to provide for elections, to provide for chairpersons, to provide for salaries of the elected members and the chairperson of the authority, to provide for the continuation in office of members, to provide for a minimum number of monthly meetings, to provide for
State and local government.
Senate Bill 338 by
State
Senator
and
Lucas.
local government.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
Senator from the 8th. What
Thank
purpose
you,
you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 11th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, Senator from the 11th is excused. All right, Senator from the 51st, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned pursuant to Senate Resolution 6 until 10 a.m. on Tuesday, March 18th.